Hey, Doc, thanks for being here today and taking the time out. I know there's a lot going on with our businesses. I mean, it's just some stuff that is unprecedented, like we talked about yesterday. But I thought it was a good idea for us to speak a little bit about what we're doing in our businesses, because I know a lot of doctors are asking me. I'm sure a lot of doctors are asking you. And I just think that they need some guidance on what exactly to do at this point.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to be here. Obviously, a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear and all, and it's serious stuff. And we want to obviously be respectful of everything that needs to happen. At the same time, a lot of us, a lot of chiropractors are really concerned about their business, understandably so. So yeah, I'm happy to be here, and I hope I can help some.
Sure. Well, I don't know about your history, but my history is I've always been a business owner. Have you always owned your own business?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I'm like, I go to small businesses, I eat at small businesses, I support small businesses. That's what I've always been about. And right now I feel as though I have to do whatever I possibly can, to help chiropractors in this time of need. So we were talking yesterday, and I told you a couple chiropractors have got in touch with me about closing their offices and things like that. We talked a little bit about that, and I really liked your viewpoint on it. And I was just wondering if you could share that viewpoint again, where you're coming from as far as with making that decision.
Sure. Well, it's a tough decision. Obviously, it's a scary decision. I mean, everything from, people being concerned about, getting in trouble themselves or being the cause of carrying this thing on or whatever. I get some of those things. My perspective is what we do is essential. What we do is important. There are people who are hurting more now than ever before. Stress is going to challenge them. Why send a person to the ER with back pain? Why, we talked yesterday about, a mother who now has 3 kids at home and is stressed and her migraines are going crazy. Maybe that is a reason for somebody to come into our clinic. So, I want to be respectful of the seriousness of the matter and respectful of the close downs. But for me personally and my principle and where I come from, I feel like what I do for people can really help them get through this whole dilemma. So yeah, I respect people's decisions, but I don't want people acting out of fear either.
Yeah, and I agree with you. And when you said that, we had talked, and that's exactly the way I'm handling my offices. I told the doctors, I said, find out the information. Our state boards are going to tell us, and if our
Yeah.
state boards allow us to be open, and I agree with you, I consider us to be essential, then we should remain open and be there for those people. Like you said, there's no reason for these people to be going to emergency rooms with back pain and the things that we can help them with. So I think you're right on. And I want more doctors to understand this point of view, not act out of a place where they're scared and, confused, but, get the information, look at it, and make the best decision. I understand where they're coming from. Why be open if nobody comes in? But, I look at it this way, when I was, in my clinic and there was a snowstorm, I opened up if I could get there. That's the way I kind of, responded to those situations. If I can be there, I can be there efficiently, I can be there safely, then I'm going to be there for the people that need me. So that's the kind of thing I'm applying in my offices.
Yeah, I think the same. I think it's just doing that to the best of our ability. And then, of course, obviously, we have to be respectful of if and when there's a true, absolute,
Sure.
shutdown, then we got to do what we got to do. But that kind of parlays into the other component of the conversation that we started having is what if that happens? What
Yeah.
can we be doing in the meantime? So
Right. And Doc, that was awesome lead into what I wanted to get you on here about, because like I spoke to you yesterday, I'm talking to a lot of chiropractors. I work with a lot of chiropractors. And they're, kind of looking at what's going to happen to my business. And when you talk to me about what you're doing, it was kind of cool because I thought about it and I thought, like, how did this doctor even know this was going to happen? I know you didn't, but it's kind of like you're prepared for what is happening here. So share a little bit about, what you're developing, which is really right there, ready to go. Which is pretty cool. But share a little bit about that, because I think a lot of doctors are anxious. They don't know what to do. And when you told me this, I was like, okay, well, I could see how this could really help a lot of people in need.
Yeah, and that's what we hope to do. I mean, hey, I'm a chiropractor of 29 years. I've got, got 9 chiropractors in my family. My business partner has numerous chiros in his family. So we don't want to see chiropractors go by the wayside. Like we want to help them. Now, this has, when you say like we saw this coming, I don't want to claim that at all, because I did not. But we've been working on this for a long time. We've been doing this program within dozens of clinics for 5 or 6 years now. And over the last 9 or 10 months, we've been working more on our remote program, our direct to consumer. We've got an app that is literally just weeks, days away from coming out and live, and which would really be cool to bring our program that way. But on the short term, what we're looking at is how do we take this program, which is we can talk more about later, but it's a science-based, we use genetic testing, that kind of thing. How can we take that from the live version in the clinics and make that a remote program, a telehealth program, and so we've established, we've basically taken our program and able to use a telehealth platform that is HIPAA compliant and bring that directly to people into their homes. So a healthy science-based weight loss program that if a doc is shut down and has to sit at home, or people don't want to come out and come to the clinic, how can we bring that right to them into their home? So all those systems are in place, the tools are in place, the training is in place, and literally a doc could have this up and rolling within a week or two right now. I mean, they could be ready to be doing this. And what I always say is, not always, but I've said lately is, despite what we may think, despite where our head may be, there are people right now who have more time on their hands. There really are people right now who are saying this is a break for them. They are saying, finally, I've got some time to do this thing, to take care of myself. I'm going to do this thing. There really are those people. There really are those people right now who, despite where we may be, people have weddings and people have reunions and people have summer to get ready to. There are people thinking that. So there will always be people, even in spite of all this dilemma, who have a focus of wanting to get healthy, stay healthy, lose weight, that kind of a thing. So yeah, that's kind of it in a nutshell. I'll flip it to you, but that's how our conversation started yesterday.
Yeah, that's great. And the thing is, it's like you said, there's always going to be a need for that kind of service. It just so happens that now we can do it from the comforts of our own home. And I think that there are a lot of people that would appreciate that right now. So it's kind of like the perfect storm in a way, as far as with these things. If I could see anything positive, in this, is figuring out, and this is what I'm telling business people, figuring out how to survive and what to do and what's your next step in order to move forward. So like I was talking to a doctor yesterday, and I said, in my viewpoint, just stopping is not even an option. That's no option. So you have to keep collecting information, looking at things, seeing, what's the best choice to make. And when you mentioned this yesterday, I was like, wow, that's amazing. I mean, it is a great opportunity for people to get involved with something that is always going to bring money into their clinic. People are always going to be looking for help with getting healthier. And if we can do that now and create something that people can do at home, I mean, how great is that?
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting. One of my old mentors and people that I like to listen to way years ago was Sid Williams. And Sid Williams used to always talk about the business hand and the healing hand. The business hand and the service hand. And I think that's where this is there's a lot of people at home that need the service, and also there's a lot of chiropractors right now who, from a business standpoint, on the business side, have got to adapt. Using your word, this is, you hate to use the phrase, but it's a little bit of survival of the fittest, you've got to be able to adapt. You've got to be able to step back and react. I always talk about, Jack Canfield in his book, Success Principles, talks about the formula E plus R equals O. And that stands for the event plus the response or the reaction that determines the outcome. So the event is here. The event is happening. People are freaking out. How are you going to respond? So we can either shut down and sit back and wait and hope with our fingers crossed, or we can react, respond, adapt, and determine a better outcome. So that's what this is all about for me personally, for our company, for our doctors, and happy to help other people. I'd love to see more doctors help more people through this time.
Yeah. Well, thanks for getting on the phone with me. I appreciate it. I'm going to push this out to, the doctors that I am involved with, because I want them to get this message. One, I want them to get, like you said, as far as a response in order to what's going on. And then, like I say, make the correct response so they have a good outcome. So there are options. People always like to hear that there are options. So I want to get this out to people as soon as possible. But thanks for sharing this information. And I will, make sure that I get it out to people, and then I'll make sure also I give them the opportunity to get in touch with you to find out more information.
Absolutely happy to help, and any of your folks, anybody else, and I appreciate you having me on. Everybody do well through this thing. We shall survive. This too shall pass.
Yes, we will. Thanks, Doc.
You're welcome. Thank you.